Are you stuck in a toxic push-pull cycle? Are you wondering if the woman you love has borderline personality disorder, or whether she's a covert narcissist using manipulation tactics and mind games on you, or whether her push-pull behavior is due to something else? I'm Lise LeBlanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and in today's video, I'm talking about 10 of the most common reasons that she keeps pulling away from you. These reasons can apply to both men and women in any type of relationship, but I am using the she pronoun simply because I find there's not enough resources for men out there. Okay, so before I get started with the top 10 reasons she keeps pulling away, let me just say that some level of push and pull is not necessarily abnormal or unhealthy, especially in the beginning of a relationship, as you're trying to decipher whether you want to move things forward and emotionally invest in this person. As you really start to like someone, you may start to wonder if they are as into you as you are into them. You might get a bit nervous or scared and start to pull back slightly. And these micro push-pulls are often used consciously or subconsciously to test your feelings, your partner's level of commitment, as well as the balance of the relationship. But as a relatively well-adjusted person becomes more and more invested in a relationship and trusting of the person they're with, the push-pull pattern dissipates over time as the attachment becomes deeper and more secure. At the toxic end of the spectrum, what you will experience is that once the push-pull cycle starts, it intensifies and gets more frequent and dysfunctional as the attachment bond deepens. Even those with severe personality disorders can often function relatively well until the attachment bond is formed. But once that happens, all hell tends to break loose. When the push-pull cycle gets worse as the relationship goes on, there are likely deeper reasons for it. Okay, so in no particular order, here are 10 of the most common reasons for the push-pull cycle in a relationship. Number 1, the person has a cluster B personality disorder. A classic example is the push-pull pattern that you will see in borderline personality disorder. In this case, the cycling between extremes of idealization and devaluation are part of the illness. Although she may be aware of her illness, she may not be able to manage her symptoms. At the end of this video, I will explain the underlying reason that those with BPD go back and forth between pulling you in close and pushing you away, from being sweet, innocent, loving, to aggressive, defensive, and dissociative, sometimes in a matter of minutes. And I will also tell you the reason you cannot fix it. Number 2 often goes hand in hand with my first point, and that is past trauma. If she has attachment issues or emotional walls due to being hurt in a past relationship or as a result of childhood trauma, or maybe both, she will feel a deep desire for love and connection with you, but at the same time, that emotional closeness and attachment signals danger. So that bond she so deeply desires is simultaneously triggering her fight, flight, freeze response. When this happens as a result of childhood trauma, regardless of whether it turns into a full-blown personality disorder, the attachment system gets miswired, so their nervous system gives them mixed messages. Emotional attachment is associated with fear and pain instead of with love and safety, and it signals danger rather than security. Number 3, resentment. She may be pulling away because of something that upset her or hurt her. Maybe it was something major, or maybe several things have, accumulated, building up resentment. Maybe she feels like she shouldn't feel upset about these things, or she doesn't know how to talk about it. Or maybe you've already had some discussions about what's bothering her, but it never got resolved. So now, although she still loves and cares about you, she is starting to feel detached. She may be consciously or subconsciously be taking a step back, but there's still a part of her that wants it to work out. So as much as she might want to be with you, she's feeling mentally and emotionally conflicted about the relationship, and she is experiencing a genuine push and pull within herself that is manifesting outwardly. Number 4, Another possible reason for the push-pull is that she is playing games and using this as a deliberate technique to get you addicted to her. If you're being love bombed, then discarded, then love bombed, then discarded again, especially if it appears to be done in a calculated or malicious way, she may be intentionally hijacking your nervous system and conditioning you to work harder and harder to get those oh so sweet rewards back and to avoid her punishments. Along the same lines, number 5, she's a narcissist or sociopath and you're no longer giving her the new relationship high. She's bored and restless and you're not having the same positive effect on her anymore. Her insecurities and self-loathing is back and she's blaming you for it. Like with any drug, her brain has built tolerance to you and to the fuel you are providing, and she needs a higher dose or a new drug. So why does she keep pulling you back in? Well, either she hasn't found adequate supply to replace you, or she's still getting off to some degree on the power and control she has over you. In the case of a sociopath, she might be getting off on watching you suffer. Number 6, she's just not that into you. She's not feeling the connection anymore. But maybe you're meeting some of her in the moment needs or providing her with some other benefits that she's not quite ready to give up. For example, if you're married and have kids together or are supporting her financially, she may find it easier and simpler to keep you around but at a distance and only pulling you in when she wants something from you or when she senses that you're about to walk. Number 7, she feels you are putting too much pressure on her or pushing too hard. She might feel that you're too clingy or controlling. She may just need to take it slower. Maybe she wants to maintain her sense of self and is starting to feel like she is losing herself in the relationship. Maybe she wants to restabilize her emotions and get her sense of individuality and freedom back. So she pulls away a bit to get herself in check. In the case of a relatively well-adjusted person, this need would be communicated in a mature way as to not create added distress, confusion, and insecurity in you. Number 8, she is responding consciously or subconsciously to your push-pull signals. So let's say you are available day and night, commenting, liking everything she posts, always being available for you, and then you pull back for some of the reasons above. She will likely respond to that. Number 9, she's noticing some red flags in you. Maybe she starts thinking that you're a bit off. She likes you but feels the need to pull back emotionally in order to rationally reassess you and the relationship. Then maybe she feels reassured, comes back forward towards you, and then notices some other signs and pulls back again. This might be because she is hypersensitive due to bad past experiences, or maybe because you do have some major red flags. Number 10, you're noticing and bringing up her issues, suggesting that she gets help. And this is making her feel bad, broken, wrong. And she's feeling judged, shameful, or even re-traumatized. Maybe you're doing this with good intentions, and maybe she really does need help. But if she's unwilling to get the professional support and treatment that she needs, then you are not going to be able to save her. Okay, so those are some of the most common reasons for the push-pull cycle in relationships. And if you have more, please feel free to share them in the comment section. And if you suspect that borderline personality disorder or complex trauma is the cause of the push-pull cycle you are experiencing in your relationship, this push-pull will be extreme and it will intensify. So no matter how safe you are and how safe you think you're making her feel, she will never feel secure with you because her trust issues and her attachment issues have nothing to do with you. And so here's the short version of how this plays out and the reason that you can't fix it. So at the beginning of the relationship, she may be somewhat reluctant to get involved with you. She may be avoidant, telling you she's been hurt in the past and has difficulty with trust and attachment. Or she may full-on love and sex bomb you right off the bat. But at some point, she will be showering you with attention, affection, compliments, and getting totally obsessed with you, then suddenly and inexplicably, she'll be pulling away just as hard. So she becomes cold and emotionally distant. Where she used to message you from morning to night, now she's taking a long time to text back, being short. She's too busy to see you. You're always the one initiating contact, making the plans. And when you do get together, she's quiet, irritable, or just doesn't seem like herself. Maybe she's even breaking up with you or, requesting a divorce if you're married. And then days later or weeks later, she's back to being herself and intensely into you. And then days later, she's back to pulling away again. And you're trying to figure out why this is happening, maybe blaming yourself, maybe realizing something's up with her, but you're already hooked on her. You're craving her love and attention. The woman you fell in love with becomes almost unrecognizable, aggressive, brutally cutting with her words, and going to extremes of devaluation, criticizing, saying she hates you, you're the worst thing that's ever happened to her. The mood swings, the anger outbursts, the jealousy, the insecurity just keep getting worse and worse, no matter what you do. And then she wants you back, desiring connection with you. You have some beautiful, magical moments. Then boom, she's at it again. She deeply desires emotional attachment, but the emotional closeness triggers her subconscious fears and she goes straight into survival mode. Her attachment system won't allow the emotional closeness because it associates love with fear, pain, danger, unpredictability. So she panics every time she feels that attachment and then pushes you away again. And this often happens as a result of having a caregiver, parent, authority figure who was inconsistent. A good, kind person on the one hand and a neglectful, abusive, rejecting one on the other. So the child is innately conditioned to attach to that caregiver, but never knows which one they're going to get, the safe one or the one who will ignore and invalidate their cries for love and emotional nurturing, who they need to protect themselves from either physically or psychologically. The young child learns to walk on eggshells, constantly monitoring the parent's moods and behaviors. This creates cognitive and emotional dissonance in the child that is so deep that rather than perceive the parent that they still need for survival as sick and bad, they internalize that, turning those feelings onto themselves, creating a shame storm that is completely unmanageable for a child at this stage of development. And it causes them so much psychic pain that they split themselves off from the bad child that they believe is causing the parent's rejection. So in essence, rejecting that side of themselves. But what complicates matters is that the parent's inconsistency ensures that the child doesn't even know what parts of themselves are bad, broken, and unlovable. So they often reject themselves entirely. And this causes them to operate at a primitive, regressive level of development anytime their attachment system gets activated as a defense mechanism. So no matter how much she loves you, no matter how safe you try to make her feel, she has associated attachment with pain, rejection, abandonment, and danger at a very core level. And changing this requires psychological treatment. And if she's not willing to get that help, then my advice to you is save yourself while you still can, especially if there is the presence of any narcissistic or antisocial traits. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and to learn 10 ways to deal with someone who is pulling away from you, click on the link above.